The Ariana Grande concert inside of Fortnite was awesome. I mean, so many things happened that it was easy to miss a bunch of the hidden things. So today, guys, I'm going to be showing you 20 of the secrets that you missed during this event. Now, before we get into it, guys, if you think it would be fun to log into Fortnite and see that you've reached level 225 and unlocked all of the bonus styles, leave a thumbs up if you think that would be cool, because I think it would be cool. But yes, guys, again, we're going to be going over 20 different hidden secrets, like, for example, a clue towards Season 8, stuff like, can you get a victory royale during this event, and a bunch more. But yeah, guys, as for the comment challenge on last video, the skin was Kit. So yeah, I left hearts on a bunch of the comments that got that right. And this time around, I say we do this back bling that's related to the event. So comment if you know it, and I'll leave hearts on a bunch of the ones that get it right. Also, guys, be sure to use code SIRS in the item shop, and remember to subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss an upcoming video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into it here. So yes, guys, since we have a ton of these to go through, let's just start from the very beginning. Well, sort of the very beginning, because as you guys know, you start the event on the one abductor, and I guess a secret sort of with that is that there is still one underneath the abductor that you're actually standing on. If you fly off the side of it and look down, you will actually see the one that is on the normal map, but for some reason there are now two. That's actually later fixed in the end of the event, and I'm not exactly sure why. It's kind of funny. But getting into the event itself, you enter through the Rift portal, which is actually more intriguing than it seems, because this is what the Rift tour is. This isn't going to be the first time we enter through this portal, because it's going to be the same for future concerts within the Rift tour. In fact, Donald Mustard, who is the chief creative officer at Epic Games, and I'm pretty sure like the main person in charge of this event, he had said that I think the last reality is totally not trying to abduct you onto the Rift tour so they can scan your memories for information about the island and the 0 point. So that in and of itself is also a secret, because he mentions the last reality. Like, what in the world is that? Who is the last reality? Is it the IO? Is it the aliens from the mothership? We are not exactly sure, but that's definitely a clue for something in the future. On top of that, again, he mentions that the Rift is for specifically the Rift tour, which we know is going to have other concerts from other artists, not just Ariana Grande, so that's exciting. He also posts a certain loading screen, which I don't remember seeing elsewhere. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this one seems brand new to me, but it's definitely pretty cool, and it shows that same exact Rift, but with a star inside of it, which is kind of a bit of a mystery in and of itself. But keeping it going here into the event, the intro has some very intriguing secrets hidden inside of it. You may have noticed that when you go by each one of the portals, it shows a specific point in time in Fortnite's history, all except one. I'll explain that here in a second, but like, for example, the first one is actually Mecha Team Leader. That one was difficult to see. At first I thought it was maybe Travis Scott, like the planet from that event, but you can just barely make out Mecha Team Leader. But the next one, for example, is easier to tell because that is the Season X trailer, or at least a screenshot from it. The point where Peely is like floating around. That one's pretty funny. The next one is the volcano erupting, which was from, oh, what season was that? It was way back in Chapter 1 though, so that's intriguing in and of itself. The next one is the Storm King, which obviously later shows up in this event too, so that's fun. And then we get to see the 0 point butterfly from yet another event, and finally the rocket from the very first event with the visitor. But guys, there's one that actually references something happening in the future, and that is this one that shows Kevin the Cube. But if you look closely, he is actually on the Chapter 2 map, which is something that has never happened before and seems to be a hint towards something happening in the very near future of Fortnite, possibly even in Season 8. Like, you can even go onto the map and find the specific area that is shown in this screenshot, and again, that picture is clearly showing the Chapter 2 map, which is super cool. Then for the next thing, this one is just kind of funny. If you use the Rick skin, it kind of glitches out and looks very odd in the final part of this section, where your character is reflected in like a giant form. But again, Rick is not displayed correctly. On top of that, the next section is super cool because it actually features a song that's not by Ariana Grande, but instead Marshmello. It is the song Come and Go by Marshmello featuring Juice WRLD, and I just thought that was really fun because obviously we had a Marshmello concert before, so maybe it's a hint towards another Marshmello concert coming up in the future. I don't know. On top of that, you also probably noticed that during this you can collect a wrap alongside all of the regular spheres, but why a wrap? It doesn't really make sense. I even paused it in and zoomed in on it to see if it was like a special wrap, but it's nothing unique. It's just kind of a yellow goldish wrap. So maybe that's a wrap we're going to get in the future, but honestly, it's so simple, I don't think so. So if you guys have ideas, leave them in the comments. But another small secret for this section is that you could actually jump. I only figured that out at the very end. Not sure what the point of that is, but hey, it's something you can do. And speaking of that, I think this whole section actually uses like the same mechanics as the drift board, or maybe more so the new surfboard that was added recently. So it's kind of like you're riding an invisible surfboard during this part of the event. As for the section with Cuddle Team Leader where you're like bouncing around on top of the head of Cuddle Team Leader, the song playing is another one not by Ariana Grande. It is called Audio, created by Diplo, Sia, and Labyrinth. Again, interesting that they're reaching out to other artists for these events, and it could be hints towards, you know, what the next events are going to be. So again, could Marshmello have another concert? Could this group of artists have the third concert inside of the Rift Tour? And then there's another one in the next section as well. It definitely is a possibility. But yeah, speaking of the songs in those sections, the next section, that is the one where you fight the Storm King, it has a rock song that I don't know the name of, but if you guys know, leave a comment down below. But again, it's yet another song that's clearly not Ariana Grande, so maybe we're gonna get some sort of rock concert after the other two. That would definitely be really awesome to see, and I think they could come up with some really cool ideas for it. So yeah, I'm excited to find out what they do with that, but there's other cool secrets in this part as well. I found it pretty interesting that if you look at the guns that the characters are using, at first I thought it was maybe the pulse rifle, but it's clearly not the pulse rifle. It's instead the tactical AR. Again, that's pretty funny because that's not a weapon that is in the current modes. It's vaulted, but they brought it back for this specific portion of this event. I'm not sure why they didn't use a SCAR or like the pulse rifle from the current season, but either way, I found that kind of funny. Also, your wraps applied to it. I thought that was cool as well. But then if you keep going, you'll notice that the cube monsters or cube fiends are all doing a specific dance. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this dance is. I'd assume it's some emote, right? But I can't figure out what exact emote it actually is. At first, I thought it was maybe the Boogie Bomb animation, but I think it's just a bit different to be that. So again, I'm not sure what they're actually dancing. Be sure to let me know if you guys have an idea. But again, this section was really cool. It was a lot of fun. But then getting into the stuff specifically with Ariana Grande, at this part right here, you'll see a lot of bubbles and stuff like that, some cool bubble effects. And that's intriguing because there's supposed to be a portal in the normal modes that actually gives you that similar effect, but they haven't added it yet, or like it's pretty rare. I haven't seen it in game personally. I've looked around, but yeah, in the files at least, there is a portal that gives you this similar bubble type effect. So I wonder why that is that they've hidden it, but it definitely is in connection to this event specifically. I mean, look at all the bubbles in this section. It's gotta be. As for the next part, there wasn't anything specifically secret in here. I looked around. I'm not sure if like the structures reference anything specific, but I found it cool that you actually get to be teleported sideways for a portion of it. That actually might be a reference to something that I'll talk about in another video. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that one. But again, this part was really cool. But getting into it with the next one, there's a portion where the sky gets broken open by her throwing the pickaxe into the air. And what's cool about that is when you look through that broken rift type thing, you'll actually see what is the galaxy pattern in the background. And when I mean galaxy pattern, I'm talking about the galaxy skins or the galaxy wrap is clearly that same exact color scheme and animation. So again, just a cool little reference to those skins specifically, or they just decided to reuse the texture because it was a bit easier. One of the two, but either way, I liked it. Oh, and actually going back, I missed a section, the one where you're floating around in the clouds and stuff. You'll notice a bunch of characters like bunnies and I think a kitten, stuff like that. And the reason that is intriguing is because one of those is an emoticon we unlocked, remember? Yeah, the cloudy kitty emoticon is pretty much the exact same as the ones we see in the sky here. I thought that was a pretty cool little secret. But then moving on to like the final section of this event where you got to fly around on the llama and pick up a ton of rings. One of the obvious things is that you were able to get XP from these rings specifically, but if you didn't know, in total you can get around, I think 20,000 to 30,000 XP, somewhere in between there. I made sure to see if anything special happens if you go through every single one of the rings, and there isn't anything specific. I did find a couple of other things, but yeah, it's a decent way to get XP, but it does take a while, so I don't know if it's really worth it. But like one of the secret things I found during this is that there's a section with hidden rings if you go towards coral castle. Once you enter through one of them, you'll notice that more start to show up one by one as you enter through the rest of them. So it's a secret bonus little thing that you can fly through for a bit of extra XP. I thought that was pretty fun. And then if you're curious if you could actually get a victory royale during this section, I'm not exactly sure if you can, but I definitely tried. I sat in this lobby for as long as I possibly could, but unfortunately it kicked everybody out of the lobby before I could actually get a victory royale. So I don't know if it's actually possible, but considering that you get XP for surviving when players actually leave the match, I'd figure that it's probably something that can happen, right? If it's keeping track of how many players in the match, I'd assume you could maybe get a victory royale. I don't know, that would be pretty cool though, right? But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more fun videos coming up in the very near future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as going over details about an Ariana Grande boss. That's a fun one, but again, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.